The gentle sun shines upon the perfectly manicured lawns and the colorful flowers of a magnificent garden. Ronald, a man in his mid-30s, dressed in simple work clothes and with a sun-tanned face, is meticulously pruning a rosebush. His hands are soiled and calloused. In the background, Mr. Peter's mansion stands out in all its splendor. An expensive sports car is parked at the entrance of the house. Ronald lowers the pruning shears and stares at the mansion. His gaze is filled with longing and a profound weariness. Every day, he witnesses the arrival and departure of important guests, expensive packages, and the sound of laughter and joy from inside the house. This contrast pierces his soul like a thorn. He murmurs to himself, his voice a mixture of anger and despair. God, this isn't fair. I work from dawn till dusk. I give it my all. But in the end, I'm worried about the rent and my children's expenses. And then Mr. Peter, he has everything. Why? Why must I be in this hardship while he has all that wealth? Suddenly, a calm and firm voice is heard from behind him. Mr. Peter, because you are asking the wrong questions, Ronald. Ronald jumps up in terror and turns around. Mr. Peter, in comfortable yet stylish clothes, holding a glass of water, looks at him with a penetrating yet non-judgmental gaze. Ronald's face pales and he stutters as he begins to apologize. Ronald, fearfully, Mr. Peter, I'm sorry. I didn't mean any disrespect. I was just talking to myself. Please forgive me. Mr. Peter raises his hand as a sign for silence. A gentle smile appears on his lips, which surprises Ronald even more. Mr. Peter, there's no need for an apology. Complaining drains a lot of your energy, but it changes nothing. Instead of complaining, you need to learn the principles that all successful and wealthy people follow, whether consciously or unconsciously. Ronald stares at him in disbelief. He had expected any reaction but this calmness and this strange offer. Mr. Peter continues, if you are truly looking for change, be here tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock, and I will teach you the first principle. This offer is so unexpected and far-fetched for Ronald that for a moment he thinks he is dreaming. Having struggled for survival his entire life, he is now faced with an opportunity that could change everything.
5:05 a.m. The pre-dawn twilight poured in through the enormous windows of Mr. Peter's home gym. Ronald looked around, his mouth slightly agape. Sleek, modern exercise machines he had only ever seen in movies were lined up in the silent room. The air smelled of cleanliness and a subtle, invigorating fragrance. In the center of the room, Mr. Peter, in workout clothes, was jogging on a treadmill at a steady, calm rhythm. Sweat glistened on his forehead, but his breaths were deep and regular. Upon seeing Ronald, Peter smiled and slowed the treadmill. "Welcome, Ronald. I'm glad you came. Few people are willing to rise early for change." Ronald, still feeling a bit uneasy, said respectfully, "Thank you, Mr. Peter. I appreciate your kindness. I really don't know what to say." Peter stepped off the treadmill, took a towel, and dried his face. "You don't need to say anything. Just listen and think. Are you ready to learn the first and most important principle?" Ronald nodded eagerly. Principle 1. The principle of inner force. Peter, while doing a few stretches, said, "Yesterday, you complained about injustice. You asked why you have to work hard while I live in prosperity. That is your first and biggest mistake. Your outer world is a mirror of your inner world, Ronald." I pointed to a beautiful orchid pot in the corner of the room. "You're a gardener. You know better than anyone that if you sow a thorn seed in soil, you can't expect a rose to grow, right?" Ronald said, "Yes, absolutely." Our mind is exactly like that garden, the soil where everything grows. When you plant the seeds of poverty, longing, scarcity, and injustice in your mind every day, what harvest do you expect? The product is a life full of unpaid bills, worry, and the feeling that the world is against you. It's a law. Your inner force creates your outer reality. He continued, I start every morning with exercise, not just for my body, but to command my mind that I am strong. I am in control. I don't start my day with complaints. I start it with gratitude and a feeling of power. Example: imagine two shopkeepers who both open a small clothing store. The first shopkeeper raises the shutters every day with the fear of bankruptcy, worry about the rent, and envy of bigger competitors. His whole thought is, what if no customers come today? The second shopkeeper starts his day with the belief that he offers the best clothes at the best price and that every customer who enters the shop will leave with a smile. Instead of fear, he focuses on providing the best service. After a year, which one do you think is more successful? The one who filled his mind's garden with the weeds of fear and scarcity, or the one who planted the seeds of confidence and abundance? Ronald's eyes lit up. He recalled all the past years when he woke up every morning with the anxiety of expenses and debts. 5:45 a.m. Peter took a quick shower and, while drying his hair, guided Ronald toward his large modern kitchen. The aroma of fresh coffee filled the air. The sun was slowly rising over the mountains, its golden light illuminating the garden Ronald tended to. Peter poured coffee for both of them and placed a bowl of fruit and oatmeal on the table. "Sit down, Ronald. Let's have breakfast and start the second lesson."
Principle 2. The principle of dynamic reciprocity and money flow. Peter picked up a piece of apple and said, "Money is like water, Ronald. If you trap water in a puddle, after a while it stagnates and turns into muck. But if you allow it to flow in a river, it is always fresh and life-giving. Money is exactly the same. It must be in motion." Ronald said in disbelief, "But I don't have any money to put into flow. Everything I earn barely covers my necessities." Peter smiled. Flow doesn't just mean donating millions. Flow means the mindset of giving. It means understanding that to receive, you must first give. This giving can be anything. First example: when you go to a cafe and have a coffee, how do you tip? Do you do it with the feeling that you are losing your money and calculating every cent precisely? Or do you tip with a sense of gratitude for the worker and with generosity? Even if the amount is small, the feeling of abundance behind your giving signals to the universe that you have more than you need, and the universe always responds to these signals. Second example: I pay my employees well. Some say it's an extra cost, but I call it an investment. When they are satisfied, they work wholeheartedly for the company, and this loyalty and hard work returns several times that salary to the company. I put money into flow so that it returns to me with greater value. Third example, or even simpler than that: you are a gardener. You can share your knowledge for free with your neighbor whose plant is drying up. This is also a form of giving. You are giving value. The law of reciprocity says that any value you give without expectation will return to you from a place you least expect. Maybe that same neighbor will introduce you to a big client one day. Ronald became thoughtful. He had always tried to hold tightly to his money, oblivious to the fact that perhaps by doing so, he had blocked the flow of more money into his life.